Wait. Is this gonna be scuffed again? No, why? Okay, you guys, first things first, I would like to apologize because I have failed you. You are officially following a criminal, and there's nothing I can do about it for the next 90 days. I cannot... Why? My microphone turning off at the worst time. But yes, I would like to apologize. I have failed my community. I failed on YouTube. I'm a renegade. I'm a convicted criminal, and I'm such a disappointment. I'm a disappointment to my community. I'm a disappointment to myself and everyone. So officially, my channel got a warning because apparently I'm on YouTube's blacklist now, or you know, suspicious sus list. I did get a warning, which I did appeal and it didn't help, and unfortunately, so I got a warning because I would expect, when I saw the notification that my channel got a warning, I was just like, oh, I mean, it had to come to this eventually. Like, I was expecting it to come to this eventually. I'm like, I wonder which video got the warning, because I do talk about, you know, pretty gruesome stuff here. Believe it or not, it wasn't a video. It was my latest community tab post about the Patreon wallpaper. That endless wallpaper. That's the post that got a warning for being spam, scam, deceitful, whatever, what the fuck? I'm sorry, YouTube. I apologize. I know that you are upset with me. I don't know if it wasn't even the booba. No, they just said like, oh, it was a spam scam and stuff. Except I've posted something like that before because I promote my Patreon, which is known that, hey, I do have additional content on Patreon, including wallpapers that I release for my Patreon members. And apparently, yeah, they said like, oh, this is a scam, spam, whatever, deceitful action. I'm like, well, this is it. I was, you know what, like, if I were going to get a warning, at least, like, I mean, I didn't want it, but at least I thought I would get it from, like, something legitimate, like, oh, okay, you know, in this video, you kind of talked too much about pretty graphic content, or, like, violence, or some, you know, like, very dangerous acts or something. I was more expecting that, and that's why, like, oh, when I saw the warning, I was just like, oh, I wonder which video was it, because, you know, nope. YouTube, who knows? Like, I went through training. They have like training, quote unquote training, where they kind of present you with different, like 7 questions with different scenarios. Look at me revealing the behind the scenes of of YouTube. So they present you with 7 questions with you know, with like different scenarios on YouTube, like, oh, and you have to judge if it's a violation of whatever, like, you have to, like, it's a training, right? So you have to answer like, oh, do you think this is a violation of their policies? And it's like different weird scenarios, like, oh, you know, I don't know, Paul posted a video of someone falling from the cliff. Is this a violation? Yeah, it is. But kind of, yeah, I think so. But yeah, apparently, like, my post was so dangerous, and I do suspect what happened. So basically, I did notice that after I posted that post, there was one negative comment, which was very, very confusing. So, Dorothy, thank you so much for the super. I can't believe it, Sona. For you to scam the community, how could you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have disappointed you guys. I have failed you guys. I will grovel. I will grovel and you know, beg for forgiveness. I apologize for being too awesome and for being just, you know, too much to handle. Too much for YouTube to handle. That apparently this is the wallpaper, by the way. This whole drama is going on around this wallpaper. This is the wallpaper. Everything is covered. Like the whole outfit is covered. There's no like, and it's also not a scam. As in this wallpaper, yeah, it is a digital product, but it is available on my Patreon page for platinum and ruby and diamond tiers. That was never a secret. I did not deceive you guys. This is very clear. This is very clearly stated in the post. By the way, you can find the link to my Patreon in the description because shameless self-promo. Because why not? Wait, why is my... Okay, so it's gonna be a little... This video is gonna be a little scuffed because my stream deck is acting stupid and it's acting weird and I will have to... Fabio! Oh god, Fabian, why do you... Oh, YouTube mean, Fabian, why do you give me a heart attack? Why? Why? But thank you, holy shit. Thank you so much for a $50 super. Oh my god. Okay, so... This is a dark day. I know, it's a sad, dark day. It's a sad reality. For the next 90 days, my channel will have that warning. And, I mean, what else to do? There's nothing I can do about this. I did training, I did appeal, I did apologize to YouTube and was like, hey, well, I've posted this kind of content before, what the fuck? Also, Melissa has been a member for 2 months. Like I said, I'm not mad at you. I forgive you. Thank you. Thank you for forgiveness. You guys are too... you guys are too much. You guys are too generous. $100. Wait, told you I found money. At least it wasn't That's true. That's true. That's true. I think this would... I think this would give me a more, like, bigger heart attack. So yeah, this is a sad day. I have failed you guys. I apologize. This is not, you know, this channel is... You guys are just, for the next 90 days, you guys are following a criminal. Oh well. On a more positive note, dung beetles can use the Milky Way to navigate, which is this knowledge necessary for your daily life? No, it's not. But isn't it fascinating? It is. And actually I can explain it a little bit more. So dung beetles, they don't have a very good eyesight, so they can't really... You know, they can't really discern like other different constellations, but they can actually see the gradient of light in the Milky Way, and that's how they navigate their way home, which is amazing. Just think of it as a, like, what if it was the next Marvel movie? Dung beetles, the celestial navigators. Awesome, I would watch that. I would buy a ticket to watch it. Anyway, so yeah, you know, you guys, shameless self-promo. If you wanna know what wallpaper I'm referring to, like what does it look like on your phone, where is the drama coming from, that's the wallpaper, and you can check it out on my Patreon. You can find it on my Patreon. Also, DMJ, thank you so much for being a member. Holy shit, almost 2 years. Almost 2 years, 21 months. Scam, I literally saw it on Patreon myself. Right? Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know, I have no idea what happened. And IDK Bacon, I bet someone reported it because dislike of Booba. I suspected. Yeah, I was going to say that I suspect it was the commenter. Like there was a very strange negative comment under that post, and it said something like, "This is disgusting. Please don't continue. God is watching, and find Jesus." I don't know. And I just I didn't report it, I just replied to this comment saying like, no thank you, I will continue creating content on my channel. I'm sorry you feel this way, and I hope you find some other creator to follow on if you don't like my content, right? That's it, that's all I replied. And I'm pretty sure it, you know, it just ruffled some feathers. So this person just went and reported my post probably as a spam or whatever. And yeah, you know, it is what it is. It's fine. I will just take it head on, and I will accept the fact that I'm a criminal. I'm a fugitive for the next 90 days. I'm on probation for the next 90 days, so I can't really post. I can, but like if I get a strike, then I get you know, whatever, that I get like a week off pretty much, because like I wouldn't be able to post or like, if you guys notice that I went quiet and I don't post and I don't live stream for a week, that means that my channel got a strike, the first strike. And I mean, if it comes to this, then yeah, like it might come to my channel getting deleted, who knows. It's been good until then. Okay. Okay, anyway, so today we're talking about another case. Okay, I'm gonna just like switch the music if I can. Wait, is this working? Oh, dear Lord. Oh, it's working. Okay, so today's case. Where is my music? Oh my Lord, I have to say my Stream Deck has been acting really strange. Let's get to the case. So today's case is a story full of deceit, lies, manipulation, more lies, and a gruesome murder. And just plot twist on a plot twist on a plot twist. And it's just so convoluted, so weird, and so infuriating, the whole process of getting to the truth. That, you know, you watch this, like if you watch the Netflix documentary, because it was actually covered in a Netflix documentary that recently released, which is titled What Jennifer Did. And so the case, I will let you guys be the judge of that, because like some people still believe it was a setup, it was not what it seems, and you know, like the persons who were guilty were not actually guilty, or at least one person who was guilty was not actually guilty. So I'll leave you guys to be the judge of that, but let's get to the story. So it's November 8th, 2010, a quiet evening in the suburban residential Unionville neighborhood of Markham, Ontario. Inside the Pan family home, a 24-year-old girl, Jennifer Pan, is cooped up in her bedroom, ready to turn in for the night. She's talking on the phone with a friend while TV is playing in the background. At around 9:30 p.m., Jennifer hears her parents returning home, and so she gets out of bed and heads downstairs to say hi to them, to the parents, you know, to her mom, ask about their evening, and let them know that she is going to bed. Then she returns upstairs and gets comfortable in bed when suddenly she hears her mother call out her father's name. And it sounds weird. Like, it's not like she's yelling, but her voice, the mom's voice, sounded urgent, even a little panicked. A moment later, Jennifer hears footsteps coming upstairs. And in the first second, she thinks it's her father, but then she's like, wait a minute. Those footsteps kind of sound much heavier than what she expected from either of her parents. Something isn't right. She gets out of bed and opens her door to investigate and sees a person in her brother's room. Her brother? No. I mean, that's impossible. Felix was away. He is studying engineering at McMaster University. This is miles away from home. There's no way that he would be here. So this person was an intruder. And then true fear sets in. The intruder pulls out a gun and points it straight at Jennifer, demanding that she follows him downstairs. So she complies. Obviously, she doesn't want to fight. She doesn't want to put herself in danger. She just follows him downstairs, and the intruder takes her to the ground floor, where she sees her parents sitting on the couch, their backs to Jennifer, and standing over them are two other strangers. So Jennifer tries to think quick. What should I do now? Should I run? Should I scream? Are my parents okay? I should probably memorize the faces of the robbers so I can tell the police later. So the men she encountered upstairs had dreadlocks, which were, quote, flopping all over the place, end quote. This is what she could remember. What she couldn't see, she couldn't see his face initially because of how dark it was upstairs. But when they both came downstairs, she could see all of their faces now. And she decided to label them because she didn't know their names, right? Like she didn't know who they were. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna label them by number. I'm gonna just take a note of it and make sure that I tell the police, you know, who was where, who was doing what. So she labels them by number. Number 1, number 2, number 3. So number 1 spoke in clear English with no specific accent. So Jennifer assumed he just sounded Canadian. He is from Canada. Yes, Canada. Number 2 didn't really speak at all, so she didn't know if he had an accent or he didn't. And number 3 had what she described as Caribbean accent. So one of the intruders demands to know where the wallets are. And Jennifer's father tells him, there's a wallet in the master bedroom, just go take whatever you need. The same intruder grabs Jennifer and orders her to lead him to the master bedroom. And her mother protests, like, please, stop this, don't take my daughter, I will go, take me instead, just leave her alone. This is not a quote, but the stranger doesn't listen to her pleas. He just tells her to shut up, sit down, and 2 of the intruders grab Jennifer and take her back upstairs. So they didn't find the wallet, but retrieved a pile of cash from the nightstand on Jennifer's mom's side of the bed. And the 2 intruders decide to tie Jennifer to the upstairs banister and left her alone as they headed back downstairs. So they kind of left her, okay, well, we're gonna deal with the parents first, and then we're gonna come back for you. We're gonna, you know, deal with you, quote unquote, deal with you later. And soon Jennifer can hear her mom screaming in distress. I want my daughter. This is a quote, I want my daughter. But is in turn met with the 3rd intruder yelling back, quote, you lied to us. And then 2 shots echo through the house, followed by her mom's scream and one of the intruders saying, quote, that's enough, let's go, end quote. And then heavy footsteps and sounds of struggle. They are taking Jennifer's parents to the basement. Then more loud popping sounds. Multiple shots are fired. But the nightmare isn't over. Jennifer's dad can be heard downstairs moaning in pain, which prompts Jennifer to reach for her phone, which she had been hiding all this time in the waistband of her jeans. And then she is able to dial 911. And the call is truly spine-chilling. And I'm gonna play that call if I can, because stupid. Okay. Well, I'm gonna try to play that call now, so take a listen.
Where are you, ma'am? Please just go. Where are you, ma'am? Please just go. Ma'am, calm down. What? Some people broke into our house. Okay, to show us all his money. Okay, ma'am, where are you? What? Avenue Road. Yes. Can you spell the street name for me, please? Dad? Hello? Hello? Yes? Ma'am, I need to know your address. Avenue Road, can you please spell? In Helen Avenue, my dad just went outside screaming. Ma'am, can you spell the street address for me, please? H-E-L-E-N.
Okay, I apologize because I think for some reason my Streamlabs didn't align the the subtitles with the audio properly, but you guys could get the gist of that call, right? Like, oh, Jennifer is screaming into the phone, like she's screaming the address, and then the operator is asking her like, ma'am, calm down, like you have to spell it for me, you have to actually like tell me where it is, and you know, where are you? Well, yeah, like, ma'am, where are you? After she said it several times. Yeah, but I think it was because she was kind of screaming it frantically. It felt like her voice was kind of far away from the device. So the operator just wanted to make sure that she had the right address. So sometime during or after this call, Jennifer said she heard her dad open the door and leave the house. She could... well, I mean, someone during the call, somewhere during the call, she says that she could hear her dad open the door and leave the house, and she could recognize the house, the outside noises like the wind coming in. A few minutes later, after that frantic call, police arrive at the scene and find Jennifer tied up to the banister upstairs. She appears to be in shock, but is otherwise unharmed. Her parents, however, are in much worse shape. Jennifer's mother, Vic, is pronounced dead at the scene, but her father is found still barely alive, so he is immediately transported to a hospital for an emergency surgery. But honestly, doctors have very little hope for his survival. He is in extremely bad shape. He was like shot in the face, so like they are pretty much not giving him any chances of survival. But they're like, okay, well, he's we have to, we have to help him, right? Like we have to try our best to help him, but even if he somehow like survives the surgery, like he might die within days. Meanwhile, Jennifer is taken to the police station as the sole witness. Wait, let me just, oh, that's why, because it's stupid. Okay, I think it's fine. So Jennifer is taken to the police station. If my slides are working. Ah! Oh, the scuff. Oh, okay. So she is taken to the police station as the sole witness to the tragic events of that evening. At this point, detective in charge makes it very clear that Jennifer is here as a witness and will be questioned as one. They just hope to get as much information from her as possible to be able to catch the perpetrators, right? So in the beginning, Jennifer is very cooperative and seems to be genuinely distraught, genuinely traumatized about her family and the attack. But then things start turning very suspicious. First of all, well, at first, before any questioning, Jennifer seems emotional. She seems in shock. She's having a hard time collecting herself. The moment the detective asks her to recount the events of November 8th, she sounds very coherent. Exactly, not like a person who just witnessed her parents' murder and was almost murdered herself. Like, she just sounds almost like too coherent. Jennifer is able to recall in a very organized and very orderly manner and detail the events of the entire day. As the first questioning continues, detective picks up on several suspicious things that signal that Jennifer isn't being entirely truthful. First, so whenever Jennifer is telling a part of the story, her voice like cracks. It sounds like she's on the verge of crying, but is trying to keep her composure. I mean, like nothing unusual for victims of a traumatic event, right? Like that's what would happen. However, whenever the investigator interjects, like she's telling the story, right? And the investigator interjects with a comment or a question while she is talking, the emotional display suddenly fades. For instance, like there's this moment when she talked about the stranger's heavy footsteps and how she opened the door and found the intruder in her brother's room, right? Like I talked about it, I told you guys about it at the beginning. So she sounded like in that moment, she sounds like she was going to break down in tears, like her voice is shaking. She is having a hard time getting the words out. And the detective then asked her, like he interjects and asks like, oh, by the way, where is your brother's room located on that floor? And she goes from like this shaky voice saying like, I saw this man standing in my brother's room to, oh, it's down the hall to the left. Like, oh, it's if you go a little further, you can, you're gonna get to my brother's room. I can see it from my door. Like completely calm. It changes like 180. She's just like shaking voice, almost crying to like, oh, it's down the hall. So then Jennifer seems to be trying to convince the detective of her story. especially when describing her parents' distress. So the detective does not challenge her statement. Instead, he uses it to collect conflicting information, which I'm gonna go over in a minute. At one point, the detective leaves the room for a minute and comes back. And the camera in the room recorded that one moment when the door suddenly opened and Jennifer like twitches as if she was on guard and startled, which again, a pretty normal reaction for someone who went through a, you know, traumatic experience, and it looked pretty natural. Also, Dorothy, thank you so much for the super. Sus things. How about how the guys tied her up, shoots the parents, then apparently leaves while she calls 911? Well, it could have been like the detective said, like, oh, okay, well, they could have panicked because they heard her screaming, I'm calling 911, and then the perpetrator were like, well, shit, we can't come back and shoot her because now the cops are coming, we don't have time for this, we're gonna escape now. Whatever, like she can, you know, whatever, like she can try to find us or she can report us. We're just gonna try to escape at this point because we don't want to be caught now. So that still made sense. Okay, so again, we're going back to that moment where, you know, the detective leaves and he comes back and Jennifer is startled, right? And I'm gonna show you guys that video. So this is actually that moment, and it looks, you know, it's pretty natural. Like it's a natural reaction. It's a normal reaction for someone who went through a traumatic experience. So this is that first video, right? But later, when the same thing happens, like she hears some kind of thud, like the detective left the room and she heard some kind of thud. She twitches again, but this time like the twitch is so obviously theatrical. Like it's exaggerated, it's theatrical, like it doesn't look very genuine. So the investigators pick up on that pretty quickly when they watch the recording, and this is that moment. So the detective keeps it cool, and you know, he just lets her talk about the rest of the story, after which she is released and allowed to return home. But it's the second interview, which is like 2 days later, when things start going south even more for Jennifer. She makes a number of contradicting statements. For example, at first she said that the intruder number 2 was wearing a dark hoodie, and now she's saying it was a vest. Like in the recording, because I watched a chunk of it, in the recording she kind of sounds like, well, she's talking about it, right? And she's like, oh, number 2 was wearing a vest, a dark vest, and the detective's like, dark vest? Because you said something else, like you said a hoodie, and she just goes like into panic mode. She's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, dark hoodie, it was dark hoodie. And she just kind of panics, right? So next, when it comes to money, you know, the money in the bedroom, the one in the nightstand next to her mom's side of the bed, initially Jennifer said that she did not see anything. Later she mentioned an envelope with money on, you know, on her mother's bedside table. And then like in the first interview, she also said that it was exactly $1,100. And in the next interview, she says, oh, a couple $100. And the detective calls her out on that. He's like, well, I mean, previously you mentioned in your previous statement, you mentioned that it was $1,100. And now you're saying you're not sure, because she said like, oh, I'm not sure. It was like a couple $100. And he's like, how are you now not sure? Like you said it was $1,100. And then she's like, oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, because, well, I thought it was $1,100 because like on the last family trip, my mom was not sure if she should use her American currency or her Canadian currency. And she had $1,100 in American currency. So she was like, oh, you know, should I use this? So she's trying to like wiggle her way out, right? Like, but the detective is like, okay, fair enough. Like maybe she just mixed it up, but we're gonna still take note of that. And then the investigator asks the key question. This is the key question. Well, wait a minute. If you were tied to the banister, and your hands were tied up, how did you reach for your phone and dial 911? So he asks, you know, Jennifer just sits there, stares at him like a deer in the headlights, and she doesn't know what to say. And he asks Jennifer actually to demonstrate how she accessed her phone while bound to the railing, to, you know, to the banister. He's like, okay, please, you know, you don't have to, you can please stand up and like show me how it was. And she actually like asks him, I think she asks him something like, oh, can I just keep sitting down and just tell you? And he's like, no, just, you know, just stand up and just show me. And I'm gonna show you guys that video. So this is that moment. It's gonna be a longer clip. So that is when she was demonstrating the whole, you know, situation, like how she actually dialed 911.
You're now bound to this, to the railing. Can you show me, can you stand up and turn around and tell me, just show on the camera, how your hands are bound? And how you are against the railing. You don't have to sit down. I just need to see how you were.
Just tell you.
The only reason that I'm trying to, I need to do this is that I'm also going to ask you is that so take this back to, take it out of a traumatizing event, which it is, and put yourself into a more clinical position, because I want to see how you could physically get your phone out of your waistband. We're obviously going to need to know that. It's very important. So traumatize away. Now put yourself into just a state of, I need to mechanically show how I can get access to my phone. Okay, because that's obviously very relevant. We know you made the phone call, but questions are going to obviously raise is that if my hands are bound and I'm against the railing, how do I talk to a 911 operator? Okay, so clinically, this is now a clinical demonstration. Just stand up. Focus in on how you did it. And I want you to stick that in your waistband as an example. Okay, so just take your sweater off, because this will be a very smooth, very quick thing. It's a one-time demonstration. I'm not going to ask you to repeat it, but I need to go through it. Okay, so just take your sweater off. Stand up and turn around. Put this in the side that you believe it was in. Great. Turn around so that you're looking away from me. You're looking exactly like, now here is where the banister is. Put your hands back behind your back, exactly how you remember they were. Okay? Now, and are you restrained from movement? How far can you move your hands from the banister?
They tied my upper arm.
Yes?
Around the banister.
Yes?
But my hands were bound together.
So your hands bound together, and this is the arm that's the strings wrapped around against the banister? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now how can you get to the phone? And how do you make the phone call? 911? Mm-hmm. And do you talk down like that?
Yes, I'm yelling at the phone like this.
And how can you hear?
I turned the volume on max.
Yes? So that's exactly the way that you're talking to her against the railing. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good enough. Sit down.
So she actually shows that her hands were indeed like tight together, but her arms were not restrained. Like, you know, like the whole like elbow and lower, they were not restrained. It was like the arm was tied to the railing, kind of like closer to the shoulder, right? So she could move her arms. And the same detective actually confirmed that the way she demonstrated it was definitely possible. But at the same time, he did note that, hey, during that interrogation, it was like, she wasn't sure, like she was coming up with it. Like she was, right? Like she paused a couple of times, and you can see that first, like she was, I'm gonna actually show you guys the screenshot. So at first, like she pulls out her phone, the middle screenshot is like, oh, when she pulls out her phone, and I've noticed that in the video, she just kind of isn't, like she takes a bit of a pause to decide, okay, which side like is more comfortable. Like, oh, should I, you know, like which side did I lean? Should I have leaned my arms to make sure that I can actually see the screen and dial 911. And she was just like, she kind of started moving it to the left, but then she moved it to the right. And then, you know, like detective asks her like, okay, so this is how you dial, like how do you, and this is how you speak to the phone. And she just goes like, And then he's like, okay, how do you hear the dispatcher? And she kind of takes another pause and then says like, oh, I turned volume all the way to the max, right? Which, you know, it is a valid explanation. He says like, yeah, this is possible, you know, that's actually, you know, she kind of got lucky, but that's actually how it could have happened. Something definitely was off. That's someone making it up on the fly. Yeah, it really felt like she was making it up on the fly. Like she paused a couple of times and she wasn't really sure how it was. Like, yeah, okay, you can sign it off as like, oh, okay, well, she was traumatized. This is shock post this incident. But then the detective was just like, no, this is someone who's like trying to make up like stuff, right? Like, oh, a plausible way to do this. Does remind me in one of the pics, there is a scissor, how she got that. Well, this is like later. I think oh, you mean the scissors next to the rope? I think, yeah, like there were scissors, but that was because in this picture, I think you meant this picture. Yes, but I think that's like later because you know, the police arrived and I think they cut her off or something. Let me just hide this. Okay, so it's pretty clear that she is starting to panic and her fear and grief are just fabricated. So she even like at one point she drops her head and tries to like quote unquote cry. This is another thing that was pretty insane. Brian says she probably should have said that she managed to turn on the speaker. Yeah, I don't know what kind of phone it was, but I'm pretty sure it definitely, but it is like 2010, so it definitely had like loudspeaker, right? Like speaker option. But yeah, like she just turned up the volume or something. Whatever, it made sense. So, you know, she is panicking. The grief, the fake grief and fear are just kind of fading away. She even like drops her head in one point of this interview and she's trying to like cry. She covers her face with a tissue. Like she drops her face and she covers it with a tissue, but then she lifts her head and it's very, very clear that both the tissue and her face are bone dry. Like the detective later also testified, like, yeah, after this moment in the interview, she, like when she put away she lifted her face was bone dry. It wasn't because of the tissue was bone dry too. So she wasn't really crying. Mind you, what Jennifer doesn't know at this point, during the second interview, that one, Draken Ghost 69 says, yeah, that one. IDK, they have it if it was evidence. Also, sorry, English is not my main language. No worries. I meant pair of scissors or something. Yeah, I think it was the whoever came to untie her or something. So they actually cut the rope. So mind you, this is the point of the interview and the second interview. What Jennifer doesn't know is that her father not only survived the attack, right? And I told you, he was shot in the face. He was like, the doctors said like, no, he's gonna be, even if he survives the surgery, he's gonna be dead. Like, you know, he's in a coma. He's gonna be dead in a few days. Like, he's useless. So not only did he survive the attack, but he also woke up from his coma. And Han was, again, he was shot in the face and it was already a miracle that he was still alive. And listen, everyone thought that even if he wakes up, the damage to his brain, he would have like brain damage, and the damage to his brain would be too extensive for him to be able to testify or even talk. He would likely not remember anything. Plot twist. Not only is Han able to talk, he remembers everything. And he tells the police that he clearly remembers seeing Jennifer whisper something to one of the intruders, but it wasn't like a frightened whisper of someone who feared for their life and maybe was trying to plead with the attackers. No. It was this soft, friendly whisper, which means Jennifer knew these guys. Also, another plot twist, according to her father, when he was testifying in the hospital, like making his statement in the hospital, Jennifer was never tied up. She was walking around freely in the house while they were being attacked, while they were being held hostage at gunpoint. And she was talking with the intruders as if they were friends. So from that point on, wait, Brian says she was giving them instructions. Yeah, absolutely. Micromanaging was her downfall. Okay, I don't know why that made me laugh, but it made me laugh. Yeah, nice. So she was like walking around. She was just talking to the intruders, and yeah, she absolutely knew them. So from that point on, her plan, the facade, they fell apart. She reveals a twisted web of deception that she had been spinning all along. Like eventually, like she had to confess in the interview. So she reveals this web of lies, web of deception that she's been spinning for a long, long time. She had been spinning on all along, and it started way before the attack, which is, which as it turns out was a kill for hire. So the investigator starts by asking Jennifer about her past, specifically about her parents and the high expectations and pressures that she was under to succeed. This led her to, faking her grades and college degree. It's like a whole bunch of lies, which I'm gonna talk about. So she was like faking her grades, her college degree. I'm gonna cover that in a minute. Do you guys know the term tiger parenting? So tiger parenting is a phenomenon when the parents are very, very strict and they are highly invested in ensuring their kids' success. Not only do they push their child to do more and more, like at school, at work, in private life, they expect them to get perfect results. Anything less than that is unacceptable. So that's exactly how Jennifer's parents were. They expected Jennifer to do well in school and eventually study medicine. She was also training as a figure skater. She was taking part in competitions as well as playing the piano and competing there too. So she was a pianist, she was a figure skater, she was studying to be she was going to be a doctor, but then later like a pharmacologist. So she was going to the pharmacology department. Now back to the web of deception, because I said that it started way before the events of November 8th. So Jennifer was trying to be the perfect daughter. She really tried, but she could never make her parents truly proud and truly happy. While she was pretty good as a figure skater, she was somewhere like average in her group or like in the competition. She didn't really like competing. Like competitions actually scared her. She was good as a pianist. She was just not great as an academic. She was getting like C's, C minuses instead of A's, or straight A's like her parents wanted, right? So she started forging her report cards so that they would think that she was getting those straight A's. Then she failed them again when a serious injury cut her figure skating career short. So she couldn't compete anymore. She couldn't even train anymore. Her life as a figure skater was over. In grade 12, she failed again because she failed calculus class, which resulted in Ryerson University, which is now in now it's called Toronto Metropolitan University, to resign Jennifer's early admission, so she would not be accepted into the university that her parents wanted her to go to. So she couldn't tell her parents because they would be furious. They would be furious with her, so she began to lie even more. Also, Dorothy, thank you so much for the supa. And her dad was like, you can't even kill me correctly. Too dark? What? Damn. I mean, that's harsh. That is a little bit too dark. But, yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty sure that might have been a conversation. Could have been. Okay, so not only, like she had to lie even more. She decided to lie even more. So not only did, to her parents, but also to everyone she knew, she kind of like built this pretend reality that she was attending the university, but instead she was just spending her days in cafes. She worked part-time as a waitress and she taught piano in her free time to earn some money. And meanwhile, she would just keep making up more and more lies. she told her parents that she had been granted scholarships, and she even got into the pharmacology department program at the University of Toronto. So, oh, she's, you know, she's gonna go where they wanted her to go, and it's gonna be great. She would like set it up perfectly. She actually, like, whenever she was home, she would have all these textbooks, like supposedly for class, that in reality she just purchased secondhand, and she was just bringing them home. She started creating notes, like apparently from the lectures, and homework that her parents would see her working on, but it was like all just fake. Jennifer knew that she is risking her lives being exposed if she continues living in the same house as her helicopter parents. So she even decided and convinced them to let her, quote, stay near the campus with a friend, end quote, you know, during the week, and stay home on weekends. So she convinced them, like, okay, well, you know, mom, dad, I have so many classes like during the week. It's kind of far from our house, and I would like to, you know, I would like to live with a friend during the week so that I'm just close, like on campus. I'm just gonna be closer to school, and then on weekends I'm gonna come back home. So don't worry, like everything's fine. It's gonna be better for my studies, right? So they agreed. But the friend was actually not a friend. It was her boyfriend, Daniel Wong, her high school sweetheart. Jennifer knew 100% that her parents would never accept Daniel as her boyfriend. He was a manager at Boston Pizza, which was just not an acceptable career for, like, in her parents' eyes, which, I mean, you know, it's a normal job, normal paying job, and nothing to be ashamed of, but still, like, for them, it was just not enough. But he was also actively dealing marijuana, which basically guaranteed that, you know, he would be on her parents' blacklist. The lies and her relationship were eventually exposed when her parents became suspicious when Jennifer told them that she was working at the hospital for sick children, but she never really showed them any... Oh, Jesus Christ, why? Oh my God. I apologize for my slides being stupid. Okay, they're gone. So she told her, hey, Shai, I just got home, and what about married iguanas? What? But Shai, hi, thank you so much for tuning in. So she told them that she was working at the hospital for sick children, but she never showed them any, like, ID badge, no employment contract, nothing that would really prove that she was actually working there. And one day, Jennifer's mom followed her secretly to see if Jennifer was in fact working, but instead she witnessed Jennifer meeting up with Daniel, which led her to discover that the two were essentially living together, because that's, you know, they were living together during the week. And in a fit of rage, the father wanted to throw Jennifer out, but her mother instead convinced him to let Jennifer stay, but forced her to adhere to this very strict set of rules. She was going to finish high school. She was going to apply for university. She was forbidden to contact Daniel ever again. She was not allowed to leave the house except for when she had to teach the piano. She was 24 already, but still had like a 9 p.m. curfew. And that's only for like the piano lessons. Like she was not, right? Like she was only allowed to leave the house when it was like piano lessons or maybe part-time job. And while her and Daniel spoke secretly from time to time, they would meet up secretly too. He felt that continuing the relationship had become very difficult due to, you know, Jennifer's strict parents and very restricted life. Eventually, Daniel broke up with her and started dating someone else. He recovered quickly from, you know, this heartbreak. Jennifer was furious. Like, how could he leave her? And what? He already started dating someone else? So she thought, no, I will not stand for that. I'll make him come back to me. And so she contacts Daniel, and in what can only be described as the performance of her lifetime, she tells him that how an unknown man claiming to be a law enforcement officer entered her home and with several other men, and they essentially gang raped her. Yes, I will not say the word because YouTube, I'm already on YouTube's bad side, so, you know. Daniel was horrified and wanted to report the incident immediately. But I mean, there are several criminals just walking free after they had hurt Jennifer. But Jennifer stopped him. She's like, no, you can't. Why? So she explained that after the incident, someone sent her an envelope with a bullet inside, a warning to keep quiet about what happened. And she somehow convinced him that the assault and the threatening package with the bullet was arranged by Daniel's current girlfriend, the new girlfriend. And so he returned to Jennifer. He broke up with his girlfriend and he returned to Jennifer. How was that explained? I never dug it up. Like I could never like get the information, like how exactly was that like convincing enough? Like how did she convince him that, hey, this bullet and this whole like gang rope situation was organized by his evil new girlfriend? Yeah, I know, you guys, I can see the chat being like, that is crazy, bro. Shit, what like what is going on, question marks. Yes, to think that actually worked, I have no idea. I never like could find the source of that. Like I could find the mention, like that's why like all the stories just mentioned about it, mentioned this fact, but like then I couldn't understand like how did that work. But yeah, crazy. YouTube, what was that? No, just rope as in rope. Have you seen Rope? It's just rope. Wait, who roped her again? It's like, oh, she claimed that it was like this random guy who said that, well, several guys, but like, oh, a random man who said that he was a law enforcement officer and he forced his way into her house with like several other men, and they just, yeah, they roped her. She just said, your new girlfriend did this to me, trust me, bro, and it worked. Yeah, apparently so. Like he's just like, yeah, trust me, this is what happened. And he's like, okay, I guess we're together again. I guess my new girlfriend was evil and and she's a psycho, so I'm gonna come back to you. Like that's better, because so things, even despite her relationship getting back to a new kind of like, well, not new, getting back to like this good state, right? Like despite them getting back together, things didn't really improve for Jennifer at home, and her parents were as strict as ever, and it was driving her insane. Or maybe it had already driven her insane because she came up with an insane plan. She wanted her parents gone. So a former high school friend then introduced her to this, and this is a quote, I don't understand why, but this is a quote, goth kid. So he introduced her to quote unquote goth kid called Ricardo Duncan, and Duncan allegedly agreed to basically ambush and kill her father in the parking lot for a price. And the price was $1,500. This is how much Jennifer's father's life was worth to her. So Jennifer claimed that she had paid this Rick Duncan, the $1,500, but then he never finished the job. He never did anything. He just bounced with the money. But Duncan, in turn, later said that she only gave him $200 for a night out, whatever the fuck that means, because that's the information I got. She gave him $200 for a night out. Sure, I don't know. But he ended up returning it to her because he's a good person, apparently. And after this fiasco, Jennifer and Daniel decided to hire a professional hitman, I don't know, amateurs, for $1,500. So they decided to hire a professional hitman to take care of Vic and Han, so the parents, right? They found their guy, and it was like a legitimate hitman for hire, apparently, in the area. So the guy was called Lanford Roy Crawford, aka Homeboy, that was his nickname, and he agreed to do it for $10,000. So the price is up. Is it the price of someone's life? 2 lives? Not really, because that means like $5,000 per life. That's just sad. Okay, so that was a little more steep, but that's okay, because when the job is done and her parents are dead, Jennifer would inherit $500,000 instead, right? From their life insurance policy, from the house, from everything. So what's that $10,000? What's that 10K? Nothing. So Crawford gave Jennifer and Daniel a SIM card and an iPhone and told her not to, like, to only contact him with this iPhone, never with her regular cell phone. Don't be an amateur. So then Lanford got two other men, Eric Cardy and David Melvaganam. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, to help him with the job. These were the co-conspirators, alleged co-conspirators. So every step of this plan was meticulously prepared. On the night of November 8th, Jennifer came downstairs to say, I'm gonna just talk about the whole plan, right? So on the night of November 8th, Jennifer came downstairs to say hi to her parents and tell them she was heading off to bed, right? This is what I talked about at the beginning, and this is what she told the police, right? But what she didn't tell them is that she also secretly, at that time when she came downstairs to say hi, she unlocked the front door so that the intruders could quietly enter the house and ambush her parents while not alerting any of the neighbors by kicking down the door, by knocking loudly or something, right? By not shattering any glass or anything. So the friend, quote unquote, that she was talking to in her room that night was actually David, so one of the accomplices. And at 10:02 p.m., the study light goes in the second floor, goes on and off, which was a signal for the intruders to come into the house. A few minutes later, at 10:05 p.m., David and Jennifer are on the phone again. So here it becomes unclear who actually entered the house and who were the intruders. So Daniel and Lanford claimed in court that they were at work, they were never there, and that Lanford sent Eric and David to do the job. But then Eric said that, oh, he was only there as a driver and he stayed outside the whole time while other men entered the home but refused to name them. And whoever shot Jennifer's parents is to this day unknown. Like, they couldn't figure it out. Like, who was the one who actually fired the shots that killed Big and injured, gravely injured, well, I mean, not gravely, I guess, but seriously injured Han. It was crazy. So no one wanted, well, Eric claimed like, oh, I was just the driver. There were 3 other men with me that entered the house. Okay, who are the men? Oh, I'm not gonna name them. Like, that's it. I'm never gonna reveal that. So, yeah. Sure, bro. For sure. Certainly. You were in the car. You were never involved. But you're not gonna give up the names. Like, why wouldn't you? Okay, I mean, not gonna try to understand this. So Jennifer Pan was officially arrested and charged. Wait, sorry, because my stupid. Is this working? Apologies. I have to. Sorry for the scuff. I don't know. Like I think I have to like update my software or something. Because Jesus Christ. So Jennifer was officially arrested and charged with murder and attempted murder on November 22nd, 2010. She kept claiming that, yes, she had hired those men. Oh, the story gets even worse. So, I mean, I guess, like, her confession just gets, like, confession, quote unquote, gets, like, even more embarrassing. So she kept claiming that, yes, she had hired those men, but it was actually to kill her and not her parents. I mean, don't make it not make sense. So she was saying that she was so depressed by how strict her parents were and how her life was like so miserable in this house that she just couldn't take life anymore. And she decided to, pay someone to end her misery. As in, like, oh, she wasn't going to end her own life, but she decided to pay $10,000 or $11,500 in total because she wasted some money before to take her life, right? Like, oh, to break in and kill her. Just leave her parents, but like kill her, which makes no sense. And she said like, oh, but the plan just went all wrong. This was not supposed to happen. By the way, in response to that, the investigator who was questioning her told her that, oh, well, what you say can be easily checked. we have this new sophisticated computer software that can analyze the audio and video, video recording from this room and detect any moment you are lying. And he also told her that they can use the satellite with infrared technology to analyze any movements inside her family home on the day of the attack, and they're gonna know how many people were there, who moved how, who moved where, who shot, and stuff, right? So she got scared, she confessed. But before you ask, yes, it is a whole bunch of baloney what the detective said. Like, there's no, like, sophisticated computer software, there's no, like, satellite infrared technology. He was lying like a dog. And apparently, at least in 2010, it was completely legal in Canada for police to bullshit and lie during the interrogation if it meant that they were getting a confession. So you could essentially, if need be, they could tell you, well, on your way inside, we have injected you with nanobots that will then program you to basically tell us the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So you have nanobots inside your brain right now. And that would be like, oh yeah, totally acceptable. Totally, is it believable? I don't know, but hey, did it get you a confession? Sure. And she fell for it. Yeah, like that's, it's kind of crazy that it is allowed, but it is allowed. So, I mean, it was. That's some, baloney. Oh, baloney. Okay, so, I mean, I just found this part really funny because it's just like, yeah, they could tell her whatever they wanted. Like, as long as it got her a confession, they would be like, yeah, we have a voodoo expert here, and they can just compel you to, they can put a curse on you and compel you to give us a confession, so you might as well do it before. And she's like, no, okay, I will confess. I confess. Getsuya, hi! Oh, we're almost at the end of the case, but it's okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. Come on, her boyfriend most likely had a gun. See, iguanas selling it is a dangerous business. She could have borrowed that one anyway. I'm a shush for now. Yeah, to this day, no one knows who actually, no one is talking. None of them are talking, so we don't know who actually shot who and, what really went down inside that house on November 8th. So in the end, we got Detective Sona from the future. She knows everything. Exactly. I know everything. I know all. I really found this part hilarious, like about the lying. So in the end, Jennifer Pan was sentenced to life in prison without parole for 25 years. Her father and brother also got a restraining order to prevent her from ever contacting them again. So she's not, even if she gets out of prison, she's not allowed to contact them. She is also banned from getting in contact with Daniel Wong ever again. So the lovers will never be together. Daniel Wong, David Milvaganam, and Lenford Crawford were also sentenced to life in prison without parole for 25 years. Eric Hardy actually pled guilty to conspiring to commit murder and was sentenced to 18 years in prison, eligible for parole in 9 years. And he actually did refuse another trial because he actually, like Eric said, like, oh, I don't want to put, he actually showed remorse and he was like, okay, I don't want to put this family through another criminal trial, so I'm gonna accept the 18 years prison sentence, and it's okay. I don't want to put these people again through the criminal trial. So he was the only one that actually showed genuine remorse. And ironically, Eric actually died in Kent Institution in British Columbia on April 26, 2018. So the only one that felt sorry for what happened and actually admitted to conspiring, he actually died. Jennifer and her 3 co-conspirators all decided to appeal their sentence and get a new trial in May of 2023. Apparently, so a year ago, apparently there were grounds for to change the first-degree murder to second-degree murder and manslaughter charges and maybe get a lighter sentence. But in the end, I think all the sentences were upheld and unchanged, and it just didn't work. So they are still in prison for 25 years with, life in prison with parole for after 25 years. So yeah, but they would the sentences were upheld, so they are still in prison. And what else can I tell you? Oh, I think there's like this one fact that I forgot to mention. Like at the funeral of Jennifer's mom, when Jennifer was still, this was before Jennifer got officially arrested or like even labeled as a suspect. So she's at the funeral. There's a picture of her at the funeral with her brother, and she apparently, like the whole funeral, she kind of kept her eyes, like she didn't look up. She was like just looking at the ground. And also there's this one picture of her next to her brother. She's looking down, but like I swear to God, like this, it looks like she is smirking. Like she's about, you know, that kind of expression, that facial expression where you're about to smirk, but you're trying hard not to. Like you're trying to, you know, like you're about to smile, but you're trying hard not to. Like that's how that picture looks like. I don't have this with me. I was gonna show it, but I don't have the picture with me. But yeah, like that. Wait, do I have that picture? Let me actually check, because I might have that picture. Do I? No, I don't have the picture. But you guys can actually like look it up, definitely. But there's this picture, and it just, you know what? I might as well just show it. Wait, Jennifer Pan. I might find it. Wait, funeral. Like there was definitely, oh yeah, okay. So I'm gonna, yeah. God damn, did I not? Yeah, I kind of wanted to show you guys this picture because it looks pretty suspicious. Oh yeah, this is a picture. So I'm just gonna show you guys this picture, but like that's not part of the presentation. But like you can see, let me just like make it even bigger. Like I don't know, is it just me? Is it just me that I'm seeing like her expression, as in she's kind of restraining herself, like just, you know, like holding herself back from smiling, from smirking? Because it kind of looks like that. I don't know. I think I saw like a more high-res picture, like high-res version of this picture somewhere, and yeah, you know, it's pretty like, no, I see it too, right? Like very subtle, very subtle. It's like, oh, just split second from actually smiling, from actually smirking. And yeah. So that is the end of this case, actually. This is all I wanted to say. This is all I had to say in this case. And well, yeah, and that's, you know, a complicated case, also a case full of deception and lies on lies on lies, as I said at the beginning of this video. It's crazy. I hope you guys, you know, found the story interesting. We did have another very interesting case on Patreon this week. So we discussed on Patreon, we discussed the killing, the murder, the Kobe child murders, and that was the murder of Jun Hase and Ayaka Yamashita. And it was insane. It's like the story about Japan's youngest serial killer, because he turned out to be a teenager, and it was insane. It started with essentially a head impaled on a school's fence. It was crazy. Like the case was crazy. Man, like when we discussed it, like I got chills. Like everyone got chills because it was such a weird case, you know. Like even when I was telling the story, even when I had already done research and I knew what was coming, I still, like when I talked about it, I was just like, wow, it is so like grim. It's so, I don't know. It's just so so blood chilling. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to my stream today. Have you heard of the case of Jeanette Tamayo? No, I haven't. I'm gonna wait. Let me just kind of write it down because I'm gonna forget. Jeanette Tamayo. I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, that one, the other case from Japan, because that one was from Japan, Kobe child murders. That's a case from like what is it, 1997. And it was you're gonna need to take some time, Sona. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna have to take some time Also, because I have some stuff at the embassy to do. Like I have to go to the embassy today to do some things. I found it very interesting. I normally don't listen to true crimes, but you make it very entertaining to listen to. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that you guys find it, you know, interesting, informative, but also like, oh, you know, it makes you kind of stay, and and my voice is not annoying. Even though this story is beyond messed up. Oh, absolutely. Like I have so many messed up cases. This has been an educational stream. Also, I'm sure you were told about the case of Sylvia Likens. Very traumatizing. I've heard. Wait, is that the one that I think of? Wait, is that the one that I'm? Because I might have mixed it up. Wait, Sylvia Likens. Isn't that the one with like the caregiver? Wasn't it? Like she was kind of murdered by this guy. Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Oh, I remember that one. One of those. Damn. Have you covered Sagawa Issei? No, not yet, but I did talk about, I actually did, like, so we chatted about this. Did I mention that in the video, the Kobe child murders video? Because Sagawa Issei was actually, like, I talked about it. This was like the first case, the first time I did like a public presentation. Did I talk about it in the Patreon stream or here? I think I talked about it in here. Like, oh, I was talking about like I did like a whole presentation about like Sagawa Issei one time, like for my university. It was because only I could do it. Like, everyone was just like my friends from uni. They were like, yeah, that fits. That I am not surprised that this is you, because they were like, yeah, I on Patreon. So there was this situation. This was like the first time I did like a public presentation in front of like university like students and faculty and everyone, and of course I was talking about Sagawa Issei's case, and you know the Patreon hangout. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and then Dorothy, thank you so much for another super. Sona, about my dark humor, I apologize for nothing. I learned nothing, and I will most likely do it again. It's okay. This channel is exactly here for that. But yeah, you did talk about, okay, I did talk about it here, and it was just funny because I mentioned it the other day to my friend from uni, and she's like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing the title like on the schedule, because they released like an official schedule of the event, and there was like, oh, you know, she's like, yeah, we were kind of in a group and we saw the title of the cannibals in Japan and like Sagawa Issei murder case and stuff, and she's like, yeah, I remember how we like in a group we kind of saw it. Like, you know, we were just kind of in a group and we saw the title and we're like, oh, this is an interesting, I wonder who's doing that lecture. And then we saw your name and it's like, yeah, we're not surprised that it's you. I'm like, what the fuck? You guys, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, we knew you were weird like that. Like, come on, you were always like, I was always kind of coming to them with like weird facts about true crime and murders. And your friend knows you're a VTuber? No, this was like that's my university friend. No, she doesn't know that I'm a VTuber. Some friends know, some friends don't. But no, like they were just kind of, we were just kind of talking about the uni, because this was at my uni. This was not when I was here. Like, that's not on YouTube. That was like, oh, an actual lecture that I did. Yes, I was, you know, in university. I was being very, no, this was the only one that I did. But my friends were like, oh yeah, we saw it on the schedule, and we were like, oh gee, I wonder who's doing that, because it sounds like Sona. And it's like, oh wait, that is her. Of course it is. Yeah, they got the vibes. Yeah, the same vibes from me. Exactly. They knew because I always was coming to them with like weird facts and weird you know. Alistair, thank you so much for being here. Warren cases are quite interesting. Oh, the haunting? Yeah, in my opinion. I guess I just like crazy stuff. That's true. Like the Warrens are, you know, they had several interesting stories, interesting cases. Okay, you guys, I will take a day or two off, and I will be back either Thursday or Friday with another stream. I don't know if it's gonna be probably like a gaming stream. I might actually try to play Classrooms, like the Classroom, because I think I've seen some clips of it on online, and I you know, here on YouTube, and I thought that the game is pretty spooky and I wanted to try it. So I might do like a spooky gaming stream, and then we're gonna be back to you know, like cases on Patreon and on YouTube. So there's gonna be another case definitely. Classroom, yes, we're going to school. No. Hopefully YouTube stops being dumb and removes the scam BS. Yeah, I know, it was stupid, it was dumb. But just so you guys know, this is not a scam. This is, I'm gonna be very, very clear about this. This is a wallpaper. It's a digital product available on my Patreon. Yes, it is paid. If you join Patreon on Platinum, Ruby, or Diamond tier, you're gonna get this beaut wallpaper. And you will also get other perks. So it's not like you only get the wallpaper. You get other wallpapers. You can actually look for them on my site. And you're gonna get like a whole archive of wallpapers, right? So you get this, you get other wallpapers, you get access to streams, bonus streams on my Patreon, and you get access to a you know, monthly hangout for like, well, for Platinum, Ruby, and Diamond tier. For Platinum tier, it's bi-monthly hangout. For Ruby and Diamond tier, it's monthly hangout. So yeah, you know, there's on that tier. There are lower tiers. Don't worry. Like if you join on the lowest tier, you still get like a bunch of streams. You know, like cause the lowest tier I think is $5, and it gets access to like a bunch of streams, right? All the streams, all the Patreon streams I've ever done. So all the cases, all the spooky stuff, all the whatever other things that I did on Patreon. So yeah, there's, you know, there's a bunch of things that you can even get on the lowest tier, so don't worry. Okay, that is it for today. You guys, thank you so much. Thank you for the suggestions for cases of Janet Tamayo and Sylvia Likens. I will look into that. We'll see if I can cover those, but I will need a day or two off to not think about gruesome stuff, because I talked this week was just tough because I talked about the oh my god, the Sewell ferry sinking. If you're interested in that, that was actually in my recent 3 videos with disturbing backstories stream. I mostly made it about the Sewell ferry disaster, and it was horrible, and that case pisses me off so much that I was super pissed. So if you're interested to see me ranting and just being, you know, my voice shaking and just having to take breaks, you can check out that stream. It was very painful. It was very painful to talk about. It was even if I was never there. I never visited South Korea, and I never, you know, like I never experienced that. Like it was just listening, like watching those videos, just talking about how parents were reacting and how the government was just shitting on them and just not doing anything. It was horrible. And then yes, I covered another true crime case on Patreon. So the Kobe child murders, Junhase and Ayaka Yamashita murder, which was wildly interesting. I have to say, it was crazy. It was I think what we learned from that case was that Japan has to, or like it would be good to change the law for criminals to not be able to publish books and profit off of the crime, because I think that was like the major point of that case, that the killer himself, he published books, and you know, he made like a shit ton of money out of those books. So, you know, not great for the families. Last super hug for Sona. Thank you so much, Dorothy. Dorothy, thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I appreciate every single super. Fabian, Dorothy, IDK Bacon, I think who else, DMJ was a member, Melissa was a member, so there was an information saying thank you so much for today's supas and messages. And you guys, I appreciate every single one of you here in the chat. Thank you for behaving well. Thank you for abiding by the rules, not giving mods a hard time. I hope the mods also enjoyed the stream, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. You know what? Let's make it Thursday. I'm gonna play a Classroom, so let's just chill, do a spooky stream, but I'm gonna take a break from like looking into hard cases. And I think this week, like this week, I'm gonna do a Cryptid Files case on, I don't know if on both Patreon and you know, YouTube, but we'll see. I might take a break from gruesome stuff. But yeah, thank you so much again. Stay safe out there. Always lock your doors and windows. Bury your haxes. until the next time. Bye. Fabian was just like, hold it. Another super. Okay, guys. This is an interesting fun fact with fear. So fun fact is 93% of dog owners in the US say their dog has made them a better person in at least one way. So keep calm, get a dog, you're immediately a better person. The dog is gonna help you. They're gonna help you with calculus. I don't know. You're gonna be like, multiplication table? No worries, I got you, bro. Anyway, thank you so much, Fabian, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Joshua, thank you. Why is this the hostage? I'm gonna run out of fun facts. Okay. Fun fact for Joshua. Fun fact with fear: the vacuum of space has no temperature, so space doesn't really have temperature. Like zero temperature. And another. Wait a minute. No, what the fuck, dude? I'm gonna run out of facts. Okay, Fabian. A fact for Fabian: bats actually make up 20% of all the mammal species found on Earth. So that's another fact. But the dog one was nice. The dog fact was nice. So yeah, that's it. Okay, that's it. That's over. Okay, thank you so much, you guys. Wait, shy. Ah! Okay. Loud music can make a person drink more in less time. So just listen to some jazz while sipping on some wine. Don't drink at a rock concert because you're gonna pass out. That's it. Okay, that's it. I'm out of facts. Actually, no, I'm not. But I'm never out of facts. But yeah, okay. That's it, you guys. This is a free stream. It's okay. Thank you so much for all the supas. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.